going on, guys? Welcome back to Airing It Out, your new favorite HVAC and plumbing podcast. I'm Dan. I was here with you guys last time, but today in the hot seat we got someone new. This is Jacob. He's our plumbing manager here at Best. So why don't you go ahead and tell him a little about yourself?
So like you said, my name is Jacob. I'm the plumbing manager for Best Plumbing Repair. I've been with them for about 4 months now. I've been plumbing for just over 10 years. Me and my family just decided to make a trek across the country from Florida. So far, loving it out here. I love working for Best, and I enjoy the hiking scene out here. I fly my drone on the weekends here and there, and
Way less bugs.
Way less bugs.
That's cool.
I don't get carried up by mosquitoes every time I go outside.
No alligators rolling around.
Right. Yeah. They don't really bother you. They're more scared of you than you are of them, for the most part.
I don't know.
You know, unless you're like 10-footers. You know what I mean?
Sure. So first, I want to get started by asking you a question. You got to pick one. You got to get rid of the rest. What plumbing fixture, what piece of plumbing are you keeping? You only keep one. The rest are gone.
I mean, I would have to go with a water heater.
With the water heater?
I can't live without hot water.
Yeah?
I cannot do the cold showers at all.
Okay. So you're taking no indoor, no drains, no sewer. You're going with the water heater.
I'll sit outside with the hot side of the inlet of a water heater and just spray it all over. We're
outhouse.
good at hot water.
You're okay with the outhouse?
Yeah.
So no sewer. You're not worried about indoor plumbing. Cool with the outhouse. As long as you got the hot water, you're good.
I'll dig a hole. I'll drink hot water if I have to, but no.
You'll drink hot water?
If I had to, if I had nothing else, right?
Or,
you know,
okay.
but no, I'm not taking cold showers. That's my my thing. Yeah, I need hot water in my life.
Okay, all right, that's fair. I respect that. I'm going with the sewer. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'll bring a bucket in the house, throw it on the stove. You know what I mean? You can heat up water. On the stove.
I need a nice long hot shower. I like a good nice 20-minute. Don't run out of hot water. Hot shower.
Right on.
I'll take a shovel out back. We'll dig a hole. Yeah,
all right. To each his own. That's fair. So before coming to Best, I've only worked for companies that just do air conditioning. Mm-hmm. So I've never worked for a company that does plumbing before. I've been here for 3.5 years now, something like that. This has all been my first experience with plumbing. Mm-hmm. So as an AC guy, coming from an AC background, never had any kind of plumbing maintenance done. What's the deal with plumbing maintenance?
Well, a lot of plumbing is sight unseen. It's either underneath your cabinets, underneath your slab, or beneath your floorboards. In a wall, you're never going to see it. You're not going to move all your cleaning products up under your kitchen sink and do an inspection. And so instead of being caught off guard and dealing with a bunch of property damage, ruined, personal items, electronics, things that are memorable to you, things that you hold, near and dear, to prevent that disaster, why not get somebody to come take a look at it? That's kind of what we do in our plumbing maintenance is we go through your entire house and we make sure your system is up to par and there's no concerns.
Sure. Okay. So, because I know as an AC guy, the reason why we want to get out and do maintenance is to make sure that everything's going to keep running, right?
Right.
And I'm sure that's part of it, but it seems like maybe, I don't know, I guess dealing with water is a little different than dealing with air, where it can cause way more problems way faster.
Yeah.
So do you think it's primarily, I mean, I guess it's both, right? But is it primarily to prevent damage and make sure things aren't going to spring a leak when you're on vacation? Or is it more for keeping things running?
It's a little bit of both. But the thing about plumbing is once a leak starts, it's going to, for one, cost you money, even a small leak. They say 2 drops an hour is a gallon a week of wasted water. You can imagine if that gets beneath your floor, you're going to grow mold and mildew. That can get you sick. So there's health concerns there. Mm-hmm. There's property damage. And then also, you don't want to be caught off guard with no hot water. That means a lot to me. You know what I mean? So you need to get your water heater checked out to make sure that it's going to keep running efficiently, especially on that, if you have company in town and that thing shuts off, or you're, say, renting out an Airbnb or something like that, and your guests don't get hot water. Well, now you're forking all that money back to them. So it's important to just make sure, for one, for property damage, and then also just so you don't get caught off guard with things not working, your toilet's not flushing right, and so on.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense for sure. Like that is different than where I usually come from with it being an AC guy. But yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So what are some of the high points? What are the main things that you guys are kind of looking at, getting eyes on, testing? Just kind of the general, the important things that you guys are looking to do.
Some of those important things is, I mean, obviously we do a full visual inspection up underneath all your sinks, your tubs, your showers, your toilets, to make sure there's no issues there, corrosion or anything. But we also flush out your water heater. We check your anode rod, which should be.
One second. Why do you flush out the water heater? I've always wondered.
So there's a few reasons. Calcium builds up at the base of your water heater.
Okay.
You want to flush that out yearly. You don't want to get hard and like pretty much turn into concrete. And as you can imagine, the flame comes from the bottom. And if you get a bunch of that crud on the bottom, your water heater has to heat up that rock before it heats up your water. So you can imagine the efficiency loss on trying to heat up rock.
It's harder to heat up a rock than it is to heat up a pot of water.
Right.
Okay.
So flushing out all that debris, and then that moves us to our anode rod.
Okay.
The anode rod is a sacrificial rod. It's meant to break down in your tank instead of your tank actually breaking down. So we check those once a year to make sure they're still doing their job. If they're gone, then it's eating on your tank, and your lifespan of your tank is going to go way down. Okay. So we check that every year.
And that's one thing I do know a little about. Those are supposed to degrade, right? That's what they're designed to do, is to disappear over time and then be replaced.
The sacrificial rod is what we call them. You know what I mean? So flushing gets all that junk out too, so you're not having to heat through that to get to your water as well. So we test your water quality. Okay. Vegas has the second hardest water in the country, you know, and part of it's because we get it from the Colorado River. Okay. So we test for water hardness, and we also test for chlorine. We test for chlorine because Vegas has 4 times the national average of chlorine in it. Okay. So that's bad for your skin. That's bad for all your plumbing systems, all your rubber gaskets and all that. It's actually almost like an acid, and it eats it and deteriorates it. Sure. And it's bad for your insides as well. So we test for that just to make sure those levels are within reason. And if not, we recommend filtration for that.
I've heard before, and I don't know if this is true, that our tap water has more chlorine in whatever parts per million than a normal pool does. Is that accurate?
I'm not 100% on that. Okay. But
that might just be a myth that I heard before. But
that sounds more like a myth, just because you pump chlorine in your pool, you know, and you can usually smell it. Okay. But along with that, we camera your sewer. So we make sure everything's flowing well, all the pitch is right. There's no bellies or sags or build up, you know, because the last thing you want to do is get caught off guard and have sewage coming up in your bathtub and just ruin your evening. So that's some of the main things that we go through. We test your water pressure and just make sure overall your plumbing health as well. Okay.
So it's kind of top to bottom in the house. Almost everything at least gets eyes on it, or as much as you can get its eyes on it is tested as best as you can. Right. Okay. How often would you say a plumbing tune-up should be done? Is that something that's done annually? Is it done every few years? Is it done quarterly?
I'd say once a year, because there's a few things that you just want to keep an eye out for. One thing is obviously flushing out your water heater. The manufacturer actually recommends that to be done yearly. Checking your anode rod. Those usually last 2 to 3 years, depending on your filtration system and so on. Just to make sure, catch any small leaks before they become big leaks and lead to property damage.
Mm-hmm. So this is done, like we talked about, both to prevent issues and to make sure and prevent damage, right? And then make sure things continue running. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me your biggest horror story from something you've seen, like due to lack of maintenance on a plumbing system?
Sewage is a nightmare.
Okay.
And I've seen, I had this one customer that had this giant belly, like 10-foot belly. And
you're talking about in their pipe?
In their pipe.
Not.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. In their pipe out in the yard. And we went out there a few times and tried to address it with them. And, they were like, it's fine. It's draining today because we just snaked it, and they didn't want to take care of it. And they clogged again and didn't realize it. And they did a load of laundry. Okay. And it flooded out their entire house with nasty sewage water. And it was like walking to a nightmare. It was come up in the tubs from up under the toilet because the wax seals broke. Mm-hmm. And it was a nightmare. They had to call a water restoration company out and pretty much gut a good section of their house.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I didn't realize before I worked here is that when sewage, when that sewer backs up, I never really thought about it because I've never experienced it, but it has to go somewhere. Yeah. And the first place it's going to go is the same place that it goes down. Yep. It's disgusting.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize that was a thing. And then I remember hearing a service call that someone said that sewage is backing up from their bathtub. And I was like, what the heck's going on? Why? Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty gnarly.
People usually ask why it comes up in the bathtub, and the bathtub is your lowest drain in the house, like bathtub or shower. So there's really nowhere else for it to go besides there, unless you have like a compromised wax ring on your toilet, and it's just going to come out your base, and it's just going to flood your floors. You're into the next room. It's going to get soaked up in the drywall.
Perfect.
And
The carpet.
Yeah, it's
great.
It's going to be bad.
I just move. Just sell it as is. Take it.
Right, yeah.
I'll pay you to take it to that point.
Right.
One thing I always used to tell homeowners when I was out running calls is, even if you haven't had maintenance done before, like the best time to start was yesterday, right? But the next best time to start is today. Right. You'd agree, right? Just if you haven't had it done, don't keep neglecting it. Don't not go to the dentist just because you haven't gone to the dentist in a few years, right? Now is the best time to get it done if you haven't had it done, right?
For sure. And it's like looking at a situation like, why does this need to be repaired? It's like, why does it need to be repaired in the first place? You know, is it because your water filtration is not working, or you don't have any at all? Like, get to the base of the symptom and don't just try to brute force the problem. Like, don't just repair the angle stop. Like, why did the angle stop fail? Well, probably because all the chlorine in the water. Sure. You know, do you know how much chlorine you have in your water? Well, we're gonna check that out for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And give you recommendations based on that. So it's maintenance. I was going to give you a good idea of the generality of how to take care of your whole plumbing system and make it last the longest. Sure. And not ending up in an emergency situation to where, you know, there is property damage or health damage. And
sure.
So on.
So when are you guys gonna come out to your mind?
When you want us.
All right, I'll find out. I'll talk to Ray and we'll get it figured out.
7 days a week.
Perfect.
We're out
7
there.
days a week.
Yeah.
Guys, let us know, what's your biggest plumbing horror story? What have you had happen? You don't get too graphic. I don't need to hear all the details, but let us know. What have you had happen to your house? Jacob, anything extra that you wanted to add?
Thanks for listening. We appreciate you guys staying in tune today.
It's important. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Any questions you guys have for Jacob, throw that in the comments as well. He'll get back to you. He'll read them all. He'll dive in and give you guys some good answers on that. Jacob, though, before we go, airing it out, right? I don't know if you know. It's the name of the show, right? Mm-hmm. Air. That makes sense, right? Airing it out. It's a bathroom joke, right? Plumbing, bathrooms, air out the toilet. So I got to know, what's your favorite way to air it out? What's your go-to move? Are you you open the window guy? You wave a towel around? How do you like to air it out?
Let's see. So I'm actually a match guy.
You're a match guy?
Yeah.
Welcome to the 1800s, Jacob.
Right.
We're match guys in here.
You never done the match thing?
No, I don't do the match thing.
Have you heard of it?
Where do you even get a match from?
They sit in the bathroom. You don't keep a box of matches by your toilet?
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Let us know your favorite way to air it out. And that's it. Don't forget, air it out.